You're listening to the Overcast. Sunshine on a cloudy day. Part of the Oversoul Gaming channel. Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the Overcast, the entertainment podcast focused on fun. I am your host, Justin, aka Oversoul.
And I am Nick,
That's
aka
you.
the Vaping Fiend.
Also the co-host. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And we're bringing you sunshine on a cloudy day. Alright. Well, this episode is, we're going to be digging deep into Summer Game Fest, which just ended, basically. After like a week of showcases, it finally came to a close.
Yes.
And, in light of that, since it is basically one big media update, we will be skipping the media corner this episode, and we'll be giving some very brief life updates, and then we'll just jump straight into the topic of Summer Game Fest. It'll be a combined media corner and topic at the same time today. So, all right, what's up with you, Nick? What's new?
Oh, man. So June 3rd, Saturday, June 3rd, I went to the Pride alley party, the Rockford Pride alley party, hosted by the Office Nightclub, and I had an absolute fucking blast. I needed that day. That was a day for me. I haven't been to something as far as a community gathering like that in such a long time. It was much needed. That was my mental health day, and what the best part about that was the fact that I could go there and not hide who I am.
Amen to that, my brother.
'Cause remember, I was never in the closet. I was in the cupboard with all the other pants.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It was fun. They had drag queen bingo. They had drag queen pop-up drag queen performances. Oh, and it was so much fun. I loved every minute of it. Even got to see some familiar faces, some old friends that I haven't seen in a while.
That is awesome. I'm glad that you got to be able to go do that, and I'm glad to see these progressive movements happening more frequently and rapidly and whatnot. It is, I don't have a funny catchphrase for my thing though. Like, mine is just like, oh, all my relationships fell apart, but it turns out I'm a demisexual. Oops.
No. Even though the mayor does this every year, because this was my first Pride event out as pansexual, it was special. So the mayor of Rockford declared the month of June Rockford Pride Month. And that was special to me because it was my first Pride event out.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
So
it was special.
You had a orientation, basically first day on the job today at your new job. Tell me about that.
Yes. Taco Bell. Yes.
Not sponsored.
So they had definitely not sponsored. No, I love the fact that I can get free tacos. No, one of my coworkers looked at me today and he said, "Are you hungry? I can make you something." I'm like, I'm not gonna say no. So I tried the new steak chili verde fried burrito. And when I say, holy shit, this burrito was amazing. I tried the fries; those were good too.
Nice.
Amazing.
Very nice.
But yeah, no, it's just everything was done on the computer though. Like they had issues adding my direct deposit information. They had issues updating my address, and
Holy crap.
just yeah, no, I'm going back tomorrow for to finish up all that stuff and watch all the videos that I need to watch, and I'll they'll be able I'll be there from noon to 3 p.m.
I
Doing
hopefully
all
they'll
that.
have it fixed by then. Jeez.
I hope
Well,
so.
I mean, I did 2.5 years at Taco
Yeah.
Bell. I did 2.5 years. I make it sound like a prison sentence. I mean, fast food is kind of like an initiation. You know, it's like you do your time. You know, and then I did my time.
Yeah.
I'm a custodian now. I'm not going back. I'm not. You can't make me.
Right.
I won't. Never.
I did two. I did 2.5 years of security.
you went the other way.
You did. I did.
No, it's cool though. Look, I think you'll
Free tacos.
I think you'll fit
though.
in perfectly there, honestly, and I cannot wait to hear your r/entitled parents and r/Karen stories.
Karen stories. Oh yeah, I'm sure I'll get some.
Yeah, oh, you definitely will. You definitely will. I have a few of my own, but we'll save that for another episode. That's, yeah.
Right.
But I know when I worked there, the menu was very easy to learn because it was all basically touchscreen pictures. So, like, it was like a freaking, like, kindergarten level,
They've got 2 of those at my Taco Bell.
Yeah. So, yeah, they should have, like, 1 in the drive-thru and 2 in the lobby, at least.
Okay.
So, yep. Okay, cool. And I guess there is one more thing. You finally got your cat from me, and she's named Nibbler after the character from Futurama.
Yes. Okay, so I figured that out today. I'm like, she looks like Nibbler from Futurama.
Mm-hmm.
She does. So I decided that her name is officially Nibbler.
That's good.
Yep.
That's good, actually. I do like that. That is a lot more. There's a lot more thought put into that than Socks, from being honest.
Yeah.
Socks is like one of the most generic cat names you could possibly come up with.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Holy shit. Yeah, it's funny because my family and I, for the most part, we all name our pets after things from movies and TV shows that we like. And video games. I mean, let's see. I've got Mufasa in here. I've got an Amicia. You've never. The only people who know Amicia are people who played the Plague Tale games. You say that to anybody else, and they're going to be confused as hell. Like that's like. And it's not just that's not.
I've never played the games, but I know about
That's
it.
not exclusive to me though either. Like my brother and his wife and my sister and her husband both do that with their pets. Ryan and Carissa, Arya is named after Arya Stark from Game of Thrones.
That's Sarah's daughter's name is Arya.
They got a cat or something named after the main character from an anime, Black Clover. Is that Appa? I can't remember. But there is, and Dalton's got 2 dogs, Appa and Kida, and Kida's named after Kida from Atlantis: The Lost Empire. Yep,
nice.
Yep.
Wasn't did you say that one of Dalton named one of his cats after Arya from Game of
No,
Thrones.
Ryan's dog is Arya from Game of Thrones.
Oh, Ryan's dog is Arya.
Yeah,
Okay, Ryan's
Ryan and
dog is
Chris's
Arya.
dog.
Okay.
Yep. Um, yeah,
Okay.
and the cat that Dalton and Lindsay got from us is named. Well, they got two cats from us. One of them is Bagheera from the Jungle Book, and the other is
Okay.
Pazu from one of the Studio Ghibli movies. I can't remember which one though. I think it's the Howling Castle one.
Okay. The Howling Castle. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, we all names like we got Tigger here too. Is one of the cats. So, yeah. So they're all
Tigger.
just named.
I know
They're all
Tigger.
just named after things and stuff. So
Mufasa is just a living stuffed animal.
yeah, Mufasa is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't really have any huge life updates myself. I do have updates. It's just the biggest thing is that I've working days at work now because school is done and I'm a custodian, and during the summer we work during the day. And instead of doing 5 days, 8 hours, we're doing 4 days, 10-hour days. And man, these 10-hour days are killer. I hate it. I also hate work during the day. It's horrible. It's awful. But the work is still fairly easy and it's good pay, so I'm not complaining too much. And I still have a lot of freedom and independence, so it's not too terrible. But fuck me, I hate getting up at like 3 in the morning to be at work at 5 in the morning.
I can't say I blame you.
So, I much prefer the second shift because when I get home and then like I fall asleep around midnight, then I wake up around like 9:30, and then I have like several hours of free time before I have to be at work, And then, but it feels like with these longer days and mornings, it feels like I have no free time at all. I get home, I have like 2 hours of free time, I fall asleep, and then like it's harder to stay awake at like 2:30 in the morning than it is at like 11 in the morning. So that's just especially when you're smoking and staring at a screen and all that, it just gets the eye strain. So screw it. So but thankfully it's only a quarter of the year. I don't have to worry about it for too long. Then we'll be back to normal. That also kind of sucks too. By the time I finally get used to and my body finally gets used to this new schedule, I will we'll turn around and school will be back on and I'll be back to nights again. So I mean, it literally is just from like June until the end of August. It's only like a month and a half or so. The good news is I get 3-day weekends because I get Friday, Saturday, Sunday off.
Yeah.
And there are holidays where I get bigger weekends. So like I have a 4-day weekend coming up this weekend because of Juneteenth. So I'll have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. And then when the 4th of July comes up, I'm going to have a 5-day weekend with 2 of those days being paid holidays. So that's nice.
Nice.
Right. So I'm going to have my normal Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and I'm going to have Monday the 3rd and Tuesday the 4th off as well. So those 2 days will be paid. Besides that, the only other thing I have going on is over here on the YouTubes, I started a new Let's Play of Amnesia the Bunker. 1 episode's out now. If people want to check it out, that is, it's a brand new Let's Play, so it's a good starting point. It's not a very long game, so I don't think it'll be a long watch.
So, did I ever tell you that the school bus company that I worked for, you know what one of their paid holidays was?
What?
Super Bowl Sunday.
Really?
Yeah, I got paid.
That's
Wait, no,
crazy.
I didn't. I was never there for Super Bowl Sunday. I left before the next Super Bowl could happen.
Oh, well. What an amazing setup for such an unsatisfying payoff. Thanks for that riveting tale of sadness. Like, hey, did I ever tell you about the time that I slayed that dragon? Oh, no, wait, that's right. He bit my arm off and I ran away. That's... Oh, that's fucking great. I love it. Well, you know what, though? You did set me up for a perfect segue, because speaking of the Super Bowl, you know what used to be the Super Bowl of gaming? E3. You know what's not around anymore? E3. You know what we get instead?
Yeah.
Summer Game Fest.
Summer Game Fest.
Right. It's
Yes.
it's not E3, but it's the best we can get for now. I know a lot of people seem disappointed, but you know what? They need to pull the stick out of their ass and just learn how to have fun. Be grateful for what you get. So with that in mind, we're gonna transition on over to the topic/media corner of this episode, which is all about Summer Game Fest. Ooh.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Summer Game Fest.
All right, everyone. Welcome to this episode's hybrid media corner / discussion topic.
Yes.
All about Summer Game Fest and all the things that they showed and talked about and diddly bopped and widdly whooped. So
That part.
there was actually there was a lot of showcases. Now we're not going to talk about the PlayStation one because we already did a whole bonus episode dedicated to that.
Yes, we did.
Like we did a whole separate episode for that one. So this is going to be about everything else that they showed, though, and you may be surprised. Now, I know, Nick, that you only watched, like, the podcasts on the list I gave you of ones to check out.
Yes.
I checked out everything because, like, it helps pass the time at work and, whatnot. But, the shows definitely ranged in quality this year, but the showing of games was, pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
And I'm not sure if all of this counts as an official part of Summer Game Fest, but I'm counting it because a lot of people latch on to the Summer Game Fest hype to do these showcases and live streams around this time of year because this is normally when E3 would have been happening.
Yeah.
So they're still doing their thing. So since E3 isn't a thing anymore, we got Summer Game Fest. That's the name of the official showcase hosted by Jeff Keighley.
Yes.
But he did say that, like, Ubisoft and all them were considered part of Summer Game Fest in the thing, so I think it is just considered like a whole week-long event now.
Yeah.
And everything that happens in it is part of it.
Yes.
So, with that in mind, the first thing we had was last Wednesday. There was a thing called the Guerrilla Collective.
Yes.
And it was hosted by a couple of fine folks that were also representing Dames for Games and Black Voices in Gaming.
Okay.
And they showcased a few different games. And I'm going to quick fire down the list here, the things that stood out to me the most. I have my notes here. They were Forgotlings, Evolutus Duality, Europa, Remnant 2, Numata, Demon School, Sacrifier, Kingdom 80s,
Okay.
Lake Seasons Greetings, which is an add-on to a game called Lake. Little
Okay.
Frog Toad Skater.
Okay.
That one I thought might interest you. Little Guardsman, By Sweet Carol, Navalis, and Promenade. And there are two specifically I want to call out real quick. Forgotlings, because it's a spin-off to a game that I did a Let's Play of a while ago called Forgotten Anne. That's about, like, a world where people's discarded items come to life and become sentient. They're called Forgotlings.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. A very interesting art style. And I also wanted to call out Little Guardsman because from what I saw of that one, it's kind of like Papers, Please, but in a more cartoony, fun way.
Okay.
Because you are a kid, you're playing a guardsman in a medieval time, and every person that comes up and tries to pass through, you have to decide whether or not to approve them passing through, reject them passing through, or send them to prison based off the way they answer your questions and stuff.
Okay.
You know, like, it's kind of like process of elimination detective work stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I got out of that one. But then the very next day, the big thing that really kicked all this off was the official Summer Game Fest showcase with Jeff Keighley hosting on stage in front of a live audience at the YouTube theater with a bunch of celebrity cameos and developer interviews and stuff like that.
Yes.
So what I have on my list for the highlights here, I'll just run through them real quick and then we can talk about them, is Prince of Persia, Mortal Kombat 1,
Yes.
Nicolas Cage, Sonic Superstars, Lies of P, Sandland, Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, Pal World, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, Banishers, Marvel Snap, Twisted Metal TV show, Immortals of Avium, and the Final Fantasy VII Remake sequel, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Okay. All right.
I'll let you go first on this one. What was the standout to you from the main showcase?
Dude, okay, so you know that there's a very big possibility that I might be related to Nicolas Cage. So yeah, of course, the Nicolas Cage in Dead by Daylight definitely stood out to me. That and the trailer or the sneak peek that we got of the Twisted Metal show for Peacock. That one stood out too because yes, Sweet Tooth is voiced by Will Arnett, but he is actually played. The character itself is played by former WWE superstar, current AEW superstar, Samoa Joe.
I saw a lot of people online complaining about the the tone of it, where he is being goofy and dancing and singing that song and all that. But people are thinking too heavily about Twisted Metal Black and the 2012 one, because before those games, Twisted Metal was campy and goofy. Like, it was dark comedy. Twisted Metal Black was the first one to be more serious and horror-focused. And that was my favorite Twisted Metal game, to be fair. But, it's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't.
And Anthony Mackie is John Doe, which is another reoccurring character in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Usually drives the roadkill.
Yeah.
Is the vehicle that he drives. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm wondering if we're gonna see other familiar faces eventually, like Warthog, Axel,
maybe
Spectre,
maybe.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, I'm curious. I hope this turns out well. It is supposed to be campy. Twisted Metal is supposed to be campy, so they did get the tone right if they're going for pre-Twisted Metal Black, Twisted Metal, like 1, 2, and 3 on the PS1. Those ones? Yes. There was even, remember Twisted Metal Small Brawl, where they were like kids controlling RC cars?
No, I don't remember that.
It was like the Twisted Metal version of Muppet Babies. Yeah, it was on the PS1. Yeah, I swear to God, it was a thing.
I never had a PS1, so I never got that opportunity.
So what was your first Twisted Metal game then? Because most of them were on the PS1 up until Black on the PS2.
Twisted Metal Black when I played with you.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I mean that was my favorite one, so okay,
and then
cool. You can actually buy that on the PS4.
Can you?
Yeah, it's a digital PS2 game. You can buy it on the PS4. Twisted Metal Black,
nice.
The original PS2 game,
nice.
With trophy support.
Nice.
Now,
okay.
I have to say, it was one hell of a way for them to open the show with a surprise announcement that literally nobody saw coming. A new Prince of Persia game.
Dude.
Like, that was...
Dude,
I'm interested just because of, like, the theatricality of that alone,
Dude,
I was impressed.
I fucking loved the Prince of Persia games when I was a kid. Like, that shit was a huge, major fucking surprise.
And this one's shifting things up a little bit, but Prince of Persia's always tried to be like tonally in with the times, right?
Yeah,
so like you had like
the animation on this one is
Prince of Persia on the
animation on this one is interesting. It's definitely not what I would have normally expected from a Prince of Persia game.
And yeah, it looked. I like it though. I like that. I like the style that they're going for. Honestly,
I like it too.
But like they're like back on the PS2, you had like the emo prints back when, and it was like heavy metal and Godsmack and all that. Like this one's more of like a modern hip hop vibe, and I'm digging it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's nice.
100%. So that was a good, and then as if like we barely get any breathing room after that nice surprise, and then boom, immediately we're hit with like this glorious trailer for Mortal Kombat 1, where the story is that at the end of Mortal Kombat 11, Liu Kang became a god, and he like reset the timeline. So this new Mortal Kombat is technically Mortal Kombat 12, but they're calling it Mortal Kombat 1 because it's the beginning of a new timeline. So it is a soft reboot in the same way as God of War 2018. Where it's still canonical to everything that came before, but it's a new starting point as well. And holy hell, those fatalities! My God,
bro, ain't lying.
I love seeing that.
You ain't lying though.
That was amazing.
Hell yes, those fatalities, fucking amazing.
And I'm not, normally I'm not much one for fighting games, but like I was very impressed by what they showed of this, and it the cameo system where you get like a tag team thing where another fighter comes in and does a couple moves for you, or they can do their own fatality.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of throwback stuff, like Jax turning big and stomping on people is like from the original game.
Yep,
it's insane.
Yep.
Let's say Sonic Superstars looked good to me as far as Sonic games go. I like that they're going back to the traditional formula, but keeping the modern graphics, and that it's also 4-player co-op compatible, so you still get like your Sonic lore. I very much look forward to watching the Game Grumps play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's probably how I'm going to experience it. That's how I experience most Sonic games these days. I just watch them play.
Fair enough.
Because I like Aaron's Sonic voice.
Gotcha.
Like, hey, all right, chili dogs, gotta go fast. And then of course Alan Wake 2. I can't wait. Oh, I'm so excited. That comes out this year in October. It's gonna be a great time. And then They gave us an actual release date for Spider-Man 2, and we got to see some artwork with Venom on it.
Spider-Man 2, yes. I cannot wait for this. I binge played the first two in under a month, bro. Like I binged Spider-Man Remastered, and then I binged Spider-Man Miles Morales. I love those games. I cannot wait to play as both Peter Parker and Miles Morales in this new game. I cannot wait.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Hell yeah.
I hope this game blows the others out the water.
Yeah, me too.
At the beginning of this year, like most years, I was like, man, we don't really have a whole lot of Game of the Year contenders yet, mostly just remakes and stuff. But it looks like the end of the year is going to have a lot of strong contenders.
Yeah, because you also got to factor in the one game that Ubisoft announced that I have every intention on buying in December. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. I cannot wait. I know I need to watch Avatar: The Way of the Water. That is now on HBO Max. No, that's not HBO Max anymore. It's just Max. It is on Max, and it is also on Disney Plus. But yeah,
I'm just laughing because I imagine if you talk about HBO Max now being Max, and like we were hanging around Kyle and his dog, it would be a real Abbott and Costello situation.
Bro,
like,
you ain't
who's
lying.
on first? What's on second?
You ain't lying.
You know,
Oh, man.
that poor dog would be so confused.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, we're not quite at the Ubisoft yet, but yeah, so Spider-Man 2 is looking real good, and Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis I've been waiting for. It's a mobile game that basically tells the story of the entire Final Fantasy VII franchise. It's like an episodic mobile game that like gives you a very condensed version of like literally every game in the 7 series,
Yeah.
Including Crisis Core, Before Crisis, and a few new chapters, actually. A few extra stories not seen before, so worth checking out. And Banishers, it was originally showed to us at the Game Awards, and now we're seeing more of it, and I'm so excited. This is from Don't Nod, the people who made Vampire and a couple of the Life is Strange games.
Banishers.
And
Which one was that again?
and they're making it. This is the game where a guy and his ghost wife
Oh!
are ghost hunters. Like,
I might actually play that.
It looks so. It looks so cool. It's a very original concept, I
Yes.
think, and I'm good. Anything that's an original concept, I think these days deserves support.
Yes, absolutely.
I just like automatically on the on the basis of that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and it takes place in medieval times. It gives me Witcher vibes in some kind of ways. Yeah,
I think I remember this.
I'm
one.
looking forward to it.
I like the idea though.
And then of course, they ended the show with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer, like a 3-minute trailer for that, and it's the sequel to the 7 remake that came out a couple years ago. And now that they're out of Midgar, it's into the open world, and it looks amazing. Like, I'm very much looking forward to it. It was a nice surprise to end the show with. We finally... What did disappoint me is that it looks like the release has been pushed back to next year. I thought we were going to get it this year, but oh well. But it seems like it'll be early next year, so that's nice. At least it won't be too long of a wait. And that was definitely one hell of a way to end the show.
Yeah.
That was, like, truly amazing. All right, before I move on to the other things, was there anything else from the main showcase that was on your list?
Not that I can think of.
All right, well, immediately after the Summer Game Fest showcase was over, we had Day of the Devs, which is just a tiny little thing hosted by Tim Schafer from Double Fine Studios. They made Psychonauts and a lot of other games. Brutal Legend, the Jack Black game, that's a Double Fine. That's a Tim Schafer production.
Okay.
So, and they talked about a bunch of upcoming indie games from Double Fine and I Am 8-Bit. I watched it. I have a very short list of things that stood out to me from that one, but they are Beastie Ball with, well, I'll tell you what that is in a second, but Beastie Ball, Simpler Times, Viewfinder, Hellskate, Ete, Summerhill, and Eternites. Now, Beastie Ball stands out to me because it's basically Pokemon, but the combat is volleyball. And I thought that was a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
So I saw that. And then Hellskate, I thought might be interesting to you because you're basically... It's skateboarding in hell. So...
Yes. Yes. God,
and then
man.
Eternite stood out to me because it's basically a JRPG that is like based on the end of the world, but it seems to be very tongue-in-cheek because in the trailer the girl is talking a lot about dating, but also the end of the world, but also dating. It's like they're making fun of Persona. So I'm interested in that. And then immediately after, well, not long after Day of the Devs, Devolver Digital came up and did their weird-ass shit again. And Devolver Digital makes some great games, but their showcases are always really, really fucking weird. And it's like a live-action Adult Swim show. And usually when they first did it, they were just making fun of press conferences in general. But this year, they decided to make fun of old video game mascots, and they created their own mascot called Volvi. And it was weird. But this is what I had. I have a short list from them as well. Sludge Life 2, Hellboy the Web of Weird, Shadows of the Damned Remastered, Wizard with a Gun, Talos Principle 2, Baby Steps, and Human Fall Flat 2. And those last two in particular I want to mention because Human Fall Flat is a game I did a Let's Play of with Dalton, Dylan, and Ryan, and it was really funny. That's always one of those broken physics on purpose.
As always.
Well, and it's Human Fall Flat is one of those broken physics games, too.
Yeah.
So it's like meant to be goofy. And Baby Steps is one of those games that's like, you remember QWOP? It's like that. Or like Get Over It, or like those games where like the character intentionally walks weird to be frustrating, and you're like falling over all the time, and like you're trying to get to the top of the mountain, but you keep falling back down because the controls are so purposely broken. Yeah, so Baby Steps and Human Fall Flat 2 were the standouts of that for me. I definitely wanted to point those out.
Okay.
And then the next day, there was a couple of things. In the morning, there was the Future of Play Direct, which had the standouts to me were Yusuke, Cavern of Dreams, Rekka, Love Shore, Solarpunk, Wildmender, Bombing 2, Graffiti Paradise, Angeline Era, Escape from Mistwood Mansion, Ascend, Grimfield Mystery, and Slope Crashers.
Ooh, okay.
And then not long after that was the Wholesome Direct, which was a showcase focused on wholesome games.
I did watch
like,
that
you know,
one.
just like you did. Okay,
yeah.
Cute, like family friendly, cutesy, like relaxing, meditative games that aren't stressful or hard.
I don't,
you know,
like off the top of my head, I can't remember any of them that really stood out to me. To be completely honest.
Well, they showed Beastie Ball in this one again, so that was a standout for me. I remember I put that on my list again. I do remember the very first thing they showed was Pico, which was a game about cats running a tea shop, which stood out to me because it's cats. But this is what I listed was Pico, Spirit Swap, Lo-Fi Beats to match 3-2 because I just found that name funny. Frog Song, I Am a Caterpillar, Karma Zoo, Balladins, Beastie Ball, The Guardian of Nature, Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life, Tracks of Thought, Kato, Petite Island, Tall Trails, Calico, and Toaster Ball, which to me looks like it's like a basketball soccer type deal, but like you're playing as a toaster and you're trying to use the toaster and the bread to block the ball from going into your goal.
What?
It's very interesting. Yes.
Toaster ball. Okay.
Yep.
I think that might be one that I have to try.
And then we had the Future Game Show, which was the big thing of that day, and that was hosted by none other than Yuri Lowenthal and Laura Bailey, the voices of Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson in the upcoming Spider-Man 2 game. And I have a long list from this
Future
one.
Game
they
Show,
did have a bunch of stuff.
Dude.
So
I'm telling you.
So my list real quick was Resistor, Headbangers Rhythm Royale, Steel Seed, On Guard, The Bookwalker, Deceit 2, Madison VR, Wallace and Gromit in the Grand Getaway, Surviving Surviving Deponia, Lakia Age Through Blood, Layers of Fear Remake, Enhanced Portals, Enchanted Portals, Deathground, Venture to the Vile, Unrecord, Daymare 1994, Ruffian the Riverside, Mythwrecked, Rekka again, Stray Gods, Reveal, Pacific Drive, Ludo, and Spirit of the Samurai. Now, I do want to talk about Stray Gods for a minute, because I just realized Laura Bailey is the main character in that, and also, that is an RPG slash dating sim slash choice-based game where the characters are singing. It's like a musical throughout most of it, and all the characters are supposed to be different Greek gods as well. That's why it's called Stray Gods. But it takes place in the modern day. It's very interesting concept, and I'm very interested in it.
Okay.
I want to see more. And of course, the Layers of Fear remake, which is coming out later this month, and I do plan on doing a Let's Play of. It's supposed to be, from what I heard, a remake of the first 2 games, but also with some new content that adds more to the story, like new chapters and stuff. So the trailer has me very confused because it shows a brand new character in a brand new location. So I'm guessing that's what's part of it. So. But then also I've seen some like gameplay and other parts of the trailer and stuff that are clearly like moments from the first 2 games because I've played those. So very interested in that. What were your standouts in this future game show?
So from what I can remember, looking at your list here, I don't remember much, but the one thing that one thing that stood out the most, because I know this franchise, I know these 2, Wallace and Gromit in The Grand Getaway. Yes, I cannot wait for this.
Oh, can I mention real quick Headbangers Rhythm Royale? Can I just say it looks like Fall Guys, but with weird pigeon
creatures. Dude, you're not wrong.
Instead,
yeah, I'd play that shit too. Now that you say, now that you described it, yeah, no, I remember that shit very well. That shit looked like something straight out of a fucking acid trip, bro.
Oh, it was awesome. Okay. All right, well, now we're moving into the real meat and potatoes of it, because the very next day... Oh, and before I get to this, let me just say a quick shout-out. I didn't write anything down from it because it wasn't any new stuff, but there was an accessibility showcase where a bunch of disabled game developers and disabled gamers and content creators got on and talked about different games.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Upcoming games and the accessibility settings that they had. Or are going to have, and like why it's so important to them.
Yes.
You know, and it was all over the map. You had like a guy in a wheelchair, you had a guy with cerebral palsy, you had like a triple amputee and stuff like that, and they all talked about how important these accessibility options are. You had one guy who was like legally blind, like full on completely blind, can't see anything, but through accessibility options can still play video games.
I like that PlayStation.
It is amazing. Oh,
I like that PlayStation is actually developing a controller for the handicapped, the physically disabled, and still the ability to play video games.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So many things are coming out with that now, and then of course the options in the games themselves. It's nice. It's crazy how far technology's come to the fact that you can have one arm and still be able to beat all the Dark Souls games. You know, that's insane.
It really is.
You know. And you know, another thing I wanted to point out, I thought was interesting, was that this showcase was also hosted by a trans autistic person. And she did a great job. And then I started following her on Twitch, and she did a bunch of like reaction streams to some of the other showcases after doing her own. But yeah, she talked about how she wanted to squeeze this in during the, as she said, E3 or Summer Game Fest or whatever we're calling this conglomerate of gaming news around this time of year now, you know. So that was kind of tongue-in-cheek and interesting. But yeah, so it was nice to see some stuff like that pop up. So, and then there was also the Tribeca Film Festival. They had a section that like focused on games, but it wasn't really anything worth shaking a stick at. Mostly just kind of like rehashing.
Yeah.
But then the real big thing, besides the opening showcase, came on Sunday morning with the Xbox Bethesda showcase, and I definitely have a list from this one, and that list goes: Fable, South of Midnight, Star Wars Outlaws, Persona 3 Reloaded, Avowed, Hellblade 2, Path of the Goddess, Persona 5 Tactitia, Starfield, Just Dance, Still Wakes the Deep, Dungeons of Hinterberg, Metaphor, Towerborn, and Clockwork Revolution. Definitely a few standouts in this one. Opening with Fable was the right choice. And it wasn't technically gameplay that we got, but from what I understand, it was in-game footage that was edited to look cinematic, but like will later become gameplay.
Yeah.
Like some of that stuff we saw was the early stages of what will eventually become a fully playable boss battle.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it looked good.
Yeah.
I see they kept the chicken kicking in there. It just wouldn't be Fable without the British humor, but they're going for a more modern style in this one, but keeping like the same tone and everything. I can't wait. It's been forever since we heard anything about this game, and now we finally got some more updates. I will say, not a lot of release dates in this showcase, but I'm also not that bothered by it because
everything is going to be
in my notes here.
Everything is going to be available day one on Game Pass.
Exactly, which means I'm not stressing over release dates because I don't have to worry about pre-orders. And
right,
shit. Like I'm
exactly.
Just, I'll just keep up my Game Pass, and when it comes, it comes. I ain't got to worry about
Speaking
it. Speaking
of Game Pass, I fully plan on getting the PC Game Pass for my computer so that I can hook my computer up to my TV and still be able to play. I want to get the Game Pass for PC. Because there was a lot of these games that stood out.
Very nice. Yeah, I was doing that I was eventually kind of forced into buying the new Xbox because I wanted to do a Let's Play of the Medium and it wouldn't run on the computer. Mm-hmm. But I bought the cheaper one, the digital only, the Series S.
I'm thinking about it.
Because it would be good enough to play the game.
I'm thinking about it. I think I might get an Xbox Series S for the Game Pass.
I literally bought it as a Game Pass. As a Game Pass machine. That was the main reason I bought it. Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Because that's basically what it is. I use it mostly for exclusives and things that come to Game Pass, but I'm getting my money's worth out of it because Game Pass has a lot of good shit on it already.
Oh, hell
and clearly
yeah.
much more to come.
Absolutely.
But yeah, a nice big surprise for me was Star Wars Outlaws.
Dude.
I was not expecting that, and that is looking good.
Yes, it is.
The first truly open world Star Wars game brought to you by Ubisoft, so it's either going to be really good or really bad.
Right. Can only go one or two ways.
And like this is a risky gamble, and I respect them for it. I really, really hope it's good. I want it to be good.
Oh, me too.
Like I want so bad to like it.
Me too.
Because I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
And I like that it does have like the more newer Assassin's Creed games thing where you can choose to be stealthy or go all out, kind of your choice.
Yeah.
Because they showed off all of that later. So, and shout out to Avowed for looking like a mix between The Outer Worlds and Skyrim. Definitely interested in that. Because it's basically like an Elder Scrolls game, but where you travel to different dimensions.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that, especially like with the weird cel shaded visuals.
Mm-hmm.
It's like almost, yeah, and of course, I'm definitely excited for Hellblade 2. The first Hellblade was my 2017 Game of the Year. This one has been announced several times. The first Hellblade is one of the most accurate games when it comes to representing mental health.
Okay.
By a long shot. And I can't wait to see how they go with the second one. I'm sure it's going to be massive. Like, they just finished recording the voices for all the voice lines and mocap stuff for it, and the game was like announced like years ago. So I can't wait. And then a remake of Persona 3, that's cool and all. Still Wakes the Deep is another horror game on an oil rig, which is kind of cool. But Clockwork Revolution, I wanted to point out because it looks like BioShock Infinite.
Dude,
and
yes,
it's a
it does.
New game.
It does look like BioShock
a brand new
Infinite.
Experimental game.
I was gonna say that too. Like,
yes,
bro, that gives off major BioShock Infinite vibes.
I'm very interested. I do like a good steampunk setting.
Yes.
And I do like, it looks like it's going to mess with some time travel stuff, so that's always cool too. Get some powers out of that. Yeah, what was your big
Alright, so
what were your standouts here in the Xbox showcase?
So yeah, obviously Star Wars Outlaws. Definitely. The one that stood out to me the most was Forza.
Oh, Forza Motorsport, yeah.
Yes, Forza Motorsport. I like those kinds of games. I enjoy Gran Turismo on PlayStation.
Yeah.
So naturally I'm gonna like the Forza games. I've never really played any of the Forza games, but I want to. I want to play this
So
one.
let me tell you, there are two different sets of Forza games. There's Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport. And Forza Motorsport is more equivalent to, like you said, Gran Turismo, more of a traditional racing game. Whereas Forza Horizon is more of a car PG. It's more of an open world adventure game where you drive to races on the map and participate in them, but it's a lot of like drag races and like open terrain stuff, not professional. Whereas Forza Motorsport is more professional, traditional racing. I don't like the traditional racing games that much, so I don't like Motorsport that much, but I do like Forza Horizon. I played Forza Horizon 5 a couple of years ago and loved that one. But like I said, Forza Horizon is more of a car PG, is what they're calling them. And
a car PG?
Yeah.
Okay.
Car PG, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And so that's why I like those ones, because they're more like, there's like a story, and you can name your character, and the game will say your character's name. It's a lot of cool stuff like that. So, I would say if you go to play the Forza games, that's just what you should know, is that Motorsport and Horizon are two completely different kinds of racing games, even if they both say Forza on them. One is traditional racing game, and the other is like an open world adventure game with racing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, more akin to I would say Need for Speed or Burnout, kind of where you can just like drive to your next objective on the map, on the big map.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, anything else from this one for you?
Let me look at the list again.
Do we want to talk about Starfield?
Yes, Starfield. I almost forgot. I don't know how I almost forgot about Starfield. Oh my god, this game looks so immersive. It looks so well done. And it reminds me almost of Skyrim, but in space, if that makes sense.
I would say more like Fallout, but in space.
Fallout, but in space?
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, they're both Bethesda games, and, the Elder Scrolls is just medieval Fallout, but...
That's why I said Skyrim, because I've never played Fallout.
That's fair. But yeah, I do think they're trying to distance themselves from that Skyrim label now, though, because people keep giving them shit for releasing it on every device known to man.
Just like the Grand Theft Auto 5 has seen what three PlayStations, and the PlayStation 2 saw 3 Grand Theft Autos.
And people just like fucking with Todd Howard because when Bethesda first did press conferences, they weren't that great, but
Bethesda,
because they're not the only ones that do it. Like GTA re-releases, Final Fantasy games like re-release all the goddamn time, and nobody ever blinks an eye. But no, the moment Skyrim does it,
no,
there's like 7 different versions of Final Fantasy 4.
Still pissed that my ex made me pawn my my copy of Skyrim and my PS3, and I never got it back. Still pissed off about that. I lost so many hours on Skyrim.
Yeah, but now
hours.
there's better versions of it.
True, but I lost all of that time.
Yeah, but if you had bought the newer versions, you'd have to start it over anyways.
You're not wrong. That's fair.
It's a completely different game.
That's fair.
I mean, not completely different, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, Starfield does look good. I was skeptical at first because I was like, is this going to be another No Man's Sky situation where it starts off like where they're getting overly ambitious and they're like, they promise all this stuff and then you go to play the game and it's just like an empty void of boring nothingness. Like,
right.
No Man's Sky is good. No Man's Sky is good now, but you know how many years and update patches it took them to get there?
Dude.
Like, people forgave them.
You ain't lying.
Sure, but it's weird to me that, like, yeah, it's good that we moved on and all that, but, like, I hope they realize... I hope developers don't see that as an excuse to just release games broken and then fix it later, which is what a lot of them seem to be doing.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, we got a release window we got to push this out by. We'll just fix it in patch. You know?
Yeah, that's not a good...
Instead of fix it in post, we'll fix it in patch.
It's not a good mentality. It's really not. It's not good business practice.
No, it's not, and a lot of them have been doing that on purpose, I think, which is really shady.
Yeah.
But a lot of them do put good quality, and you can tell the developers who actually try.
Oh, yeah,
like
most definitely.
Like Santa Monica, you know?
Oh, Santa Monica knows what the fuck they're doing.
Mm-hmm. And Naughty Dog, you know, people like
Naughty
that.
Dog, yes. Like
the people who you put a lot of love and thought into their products and aren't just trying to rush it out. And, you know, it's not the developer's fault.
Right.
Most of the time, it's the publishers. It's the publishers who are trying to meet deadlines for stockholders is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But the developers are the ones who take all the heat because they're the ones that the publishers put out on the front lines. But yeah, so basically, I was worried that they might be a little overly ambitious with this, but after seeing the Starfield Direct after the showcase, I'm a little more at ease. It seems like they're going to have enough content to justify this. And from what I saw, it looks like you can scan a planet ahead of time and see what's on it to see whether or not it's even worth landing on in the first place so you don't waste any time. And it's going to have NPCs and side quests and stuff like that. So it's going to be like I think it's going to be closer to the Outer Worlds than it is anything else, which was an Obsidian RPG that was similar to Fallout, but in space. So I think this is like going to be... They're doing the No Man's Sky procedurally generated planets thing, but they're doing it in a sort of like Fallout-y style like setting in space.
Okay.
So I am interested, and it's going to be free day one on Game Pass, so you know I don't have to worry about spending any money on it. I can just like download it and give it a go and see what I think. It'll be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Worst case scenario, I don't like it and I delete it. No harm, no foul.
That part. Exactly. Xbox was very generous with their lineup this year. Everything's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, you know, like by the end of that showcase, the terms world premiere and coming day one to Game Pass were stuck in my head. Like,
bro, I ain't even gonna lie. That all of what Xbox did was in direct response of PlayStation's showcase.
I believe it. Well, they even came out on Twitter and said no fancy CGI trailers in our showcase. It's all going to be in-engine footage.
Yeah, that it's all direct in direct response to PlayStation.
Well,
but
that's
no,
fair
PlayStation
enough.
came out.
PlayStation
came out swinging with that Spider-Man game, though.
They did. Oh, they definitely did. I enjoyed both showcases very much. Xbox also came out swinging with Fable, so that was pretty. That was pretty
right through the gates too.
Their opening was as exciting as Jeff Keighley's closing. You know.
Dude, you ain't lying.
So yeah, Xbox put on a pretty decent show this year. I do wish it was a little bit longer. Like, since they had a whole thing dedicated to Starfield at the end, they didn't need to stick another Starfield trailer in the middle of the showcase. They could have like used that slot for something else. But
right, yeah, they could have done that.
But either way, though, I do wish it was a little bit longer, but it was fine. And like every year, after Xbox was the PC gaming showcase, which talked about a bunch of games coming to PC, but a lot of them are multi-platform coming to consoles too. And just a quick fire list that I had for this, I will say, the hosts this year, it's the same hosts as it is every year, but like this year, the gimmick they were doing, like they were making fun of AI and all that, it was bad. It was really, really bad. It was not great.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was cringy. But the games that interested me were Nivalis, Ebenezer and the Invisible World, which is a Metroidvania game about Ebenezer Scrooge. Sulfur, Eternites again, PAX Day, Stampede Racing Royale, Islands of Insight, Citizen Sleeper 2, Critter Cove, Hidden Door, Miasma Chronicles, Invector Rhythm Galaxy, which is a sequel to Avicii Invector, which was a rhythm game full of Avicii songs that I really liked, but now they're doing a full game with more artists in it. The Invincible, Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew, Atomic Picnic, Jorl's Brother, and the most important game in the galaxy. What a title that one is. Macabre, Earthless, My Friendly Neighborhood, Bloomtown, and Dune Awakening, which is an MMO about Dune.
Yes, Dune. The Dune game is going to be interesting.
Yes. Yeah. And it's an MMO.
I don't know much about Dune, but... I don't know much about.
You'll probably be running spice farms.
Yeah, probably.
The spice melange, watching out for the giant sandworms.
Yes, that. I watched the movie. The movie was decent. I'm excited for the second one.
And then the next day, the big things, we had Ubisoft and Capcom, and both of them didn't really have so much new announcements. I mean, there were a few, but most of it was just like extended looks at things we already knew about, but they were good extended looks.
Oh, yeah.
I dare even say that Ubisoft might have had the best performance, like the best showcase performance wise out of the whole thing.
Yes.
Like they came with it. They knew they were putting on a show, and they put on a show. You know, it was, and they had a small stage and a small audience, and they still came with it. Mm-hmm. Like I'm
excited for the anime show that's coming out to Netflix.
Oh, would that be Captain Laserhawk, the Blood Dragon remix?
Yes.
So that's based off
Captain
of
Laserhawk. Yes.
That's based off of a DLC game for Far Cry 3 called Far Cry Blood Dragon.
Okay. But I noticed in the trailer they had a bunch of like Ubisoft like original
references,
like, characters, like references, a lot of Ubisoft character references.
Like the frog in the Assassin's outfit.
Yep, the frog in the Assassin's Creed outfit. Yep. That one is that actually stood out the most. That stood out the most for me.
Definitely. We got another look and a longer look at Avatar Frontiers of Pandora.
Oh yes, I cannot. I am
excited.
Going to play. I am fucking excited for this.
Yeah, it does look good to me.
Dude,
I thought the second movie was just okay, but I am very interested in the game.
I think when this game comes out, I'm going to grind as hard on this game as I did for Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely interested in checking it out. I don't know if it'll be like a day one purchase, probably a GameFly rental. I do want to try it. It's definitely on my list.
I fully plan on buying this thing. I fully plan on buying this game, and I am going to love every minute of it because I've always wanted to explore the world of Pandora like that. Now, that's not to say I can't go and visit the world of Pandora at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida at some point. But that's a story for another day.
Fair enough. Now, I do want to point out, for one particular reason, that when they announced that Skull and Bones is finally getting a closed beta after all these years of being announced, and nothing happening, they announced it with home free.
Yes, I immediately went and downloaded that song on Apple Music.
Yeah, home free, the acapella group. Very good performance.
Yeah, it was very good performance from Home Free. I loved that.
Worth mentioning also now that Just Dance is apparently an esports game now, which makes sense because competitive dancing is a sport. So,
no kidding. I went and actually looked at their Apple Music page, and they have a couple of other songs that I enjoy. They have Sea Shanty Medley, and they did a cover of Ray Stevens' Mississippi Squirrel Revival.
Nice.
You know, the guy that did The Streak and Guitarzan.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And of course, we got a deeper look at Prince of Persia, but we talked about that one.
Yes.
And of course, I can't get past a Ubisoft thing without mentioning Assassin's Creed, and it's worth. What really stood out to me is that we're getting a VR Assassin's Creed game on the Meta Quest 2, which is a headset I own, where you get to relive moments from the games as Ezio, Cassandra, and Connor from Assassin's Creed 2, 3, and Odyssey. 2, Odyssey, and 3, respectively. Ezio's from 2, Cassandra's from Odyssey, Connor's from 3. So that's going to be cool, but what did irritate me a little bit, we didn't get any updates on Assassin's Creed Hex or Hexe. I'd like to see more about that. But also, it turns out Assassin's Creed Jade is a mobile game, which I'm not against mobile games, but I thought we were finally getting an Assassin's Creed game in feudal Japan. Turns out it's actually in China, and it's a mobile game, so not a full open world RPG. It still looks good, like graphically, even especially for a mobile game, but I am a bit jaded, so to speak. No pun intended, because it's Assassin's Creed codename Jade, and I'm a bit jaded. But yeah. No, but seriously, but it's okay. But because they won me back with Assassin's Creed Mirage, getting an extended look at that and seeing more about it.
Yeah.
From what I can see, it looks like it's going back to the series roots, where it's focusing more on stealth and parkour again, but it's taking elements, some of the best elements from the entire series. So it's a lot like the first game setting-wise, but then the gameplay is similar to like the Ezio trilogy, where you're like doing parkour and stealth, but you got like smoke bombs and shit you can throw, and like firecrackers you can distract people with, and poison traps you can lay, stuff like that. And then also you have a bird like you do in the newer games that you can use to survey areas, but enemies can also take your bird out if you're not careful. So that was very, very interesting to me. But you also get traditional eagle vision as well. So there's two ways to see things. So I am so excited for that. I can't fucking wait. It has been way too long since we've had a traditional Assassin's Creed game. They did a fun thing with the open world RPGs, but like those are some chonky games. It's time to get down to a nice condensed experience again. Nice straightforward linear Assassin's Creed game. Yep. And that comes out at the end of the year. I can't fucking wait. And nice. And we got a deeper look at Star Wars Outlaws as well, which had
we did.
The gameplay in that.
We got some gameplay on it too.
Yeah,
it does. Yep. The gameplay on Star Wars Outlaws looks amazing. It does. I love it.
It reminded me. It reminded me a lot of the newer Assassin's Creed games, where they were trying to be stealthy, and then they fucked it up, and they had to like fight their way out, and then they ran. But instead of getting on a horse, they got on a speeder, and they just took off while they were being chased like that. It's Assassin's Creed with a Star Wars skin on it in every sense of the word.
Absolutely, yeah, it really is.
I'm down with it. Like I'm excited. for that one. Any other huge standouts for you from the Ubisoft one? I know you said Avatar.
Avatar was the biggest one, actually. Other than the Ubisoft.
And that anime.
The anime, yeah. I think those are the only two things that really stood out for me. No, but yeah, they did good. I'm not the biggest fan of the Assassin's Creed games, but I would actually, given my history with VR, I would be willing to try the Assassin's Creed VR game.
Oh boy, that seems like it would be a tough one. I feel like that's a more seasoned VR player experience. What with all the jumping off roofs and shit.
I still want to fucking try it.
But fair enough. Yeah,
I'll give it a try. If I get motion sickness, I just know that I can't do it.
I'll put it to you this way: like when I first tried VR, I got sick all the time, and what I had to do was I had to put it down, walk away for a little bit until I felt better, then come back, put it back on, and keep going. And the more I did that, the more I built up a tolerance, and the less sick I started getting. Now, if I step away from VR for several months and come back to it, I have to build up that tolerance again. So I've been trying to spend more time in it to keep that tolerance going. But yeah, it's definitely a person-by-person thing, too. But the newer headsets are starting to get better about dealing with that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
And it's funny you should mention VR, but we'll get there in a minute. But, Capcom had a little thing after Ubisoft. And again, it wasn't anything huge, mostly an extended look at stuff we already knew about. But a few, the newer Capcom, things they talked about.
Okay. Yeah. The one thing that stood out for me the most was Exoprimal. It gave off huge Metroid meets Jurassic Park vibes.
Okay, I can see that, yeah. Yeah, that is a game I would play if I had a group of people to play it with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If some buddies wanted to get together and play that one, I would play it. It does look interesting with that aesthetic. I thought you were going to say though, the fact that we got an extended look at Dragon's Dogma 2.
Dude, I would. Okay, so nice. I didn't get to play the first Dragon's Dogma, but this looks like something that I could get into.
It's not too late. They actually mentioned in their showcase that a bunch of their games are on sale, and one of them is Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, which is the first game plus its expansion.
Ooh, how much is it?
I have no idea. But
that looks like my kind of game.
I also wanted to point out that we got a bigger look at Path of the Goddess, which really stood out to me just for being as weird as it is. I have no idea what the hell is going on in that game. All I know is I want to play it. It looks extremely hard to follow, but extremely fun to play. And Pragmata stood out to me, and Ghost Trick Phantom Detective as well. I also had to take note that they are releasing another trilogy of remastered Ace Attorney games, because like those games or not, everyone has to respect Ace Attorney's history and gaming culture, because that guy is a meme at this point, Objection! That's Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney is a meme at this point. I'm pretty sure Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law was meant to be a joke based on that.
Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen is $5.39 with PlayStation Plus right now. It's 82% off.
That is a huge sale. Holy shit, that's a good grab. That's a
fucking
damn
bet.
Good grab.
I'm getting that now.
Oh, here, ladies, blokes, and non-binary folks, you are experiencing live.
This is an impulse purchase right here.
Yep, you are experiencing a live impulse purchase, exclusive content that you can only hear on the Overcast. Oh my god.
Shit.
Overall, though, the Capcom showcase was kind of underwhelming, but like it was nice to get some updates on some of those things. So I was looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And then there was one more thing that happened today, and this is, I'm kind of a simp for VR, if I'm being honest. So my list for this one is long, but there was an Upload VR showcase today that I watched before we recorded this, and I have a long list of things that stood out to me from this one, and I'll only dig into one or two of them, but my list from the Upload VR showcase, and these are all games coming to PSVR 2, MetaQuest 2, and Pico 4.
Okay.
And Steam VR, all these things. So, Arcade Legends, Case File Mysteries, TOS, I Expect You to Die 3, the events at Unity Farm, Tin Hearts, Mindset, Voxsys, Crumbling, Happy Funland, which the name Happy Funland is misleading because it's a horror game about a haunted theme park. Madison VR, Mechaforce, Numata VR, Out of Hand, Gazler's Throwback, Pixel Ripped 1978, Power Wash Simulator VR, Discronia Episode 3, Putzle, The Burst, Sushi Ben, Retropolis 2, Never Say Goodbye, No More Rainbows, Dungeon Full Dive, Sand in Hand, Grimlord, Broken Spectre, Synapse, Lo-Fi, and Arashi. Yeah, I want to say, I take back what I say about Synapse in the PlayStation Showcase episode we did. Seeing it again, it actually looks really cool because you have telekinesis powers and you can use them to throw people around and shit. So that looks cool. I want to call out I Expect You to Die 3 because it's the third game in a series of VR games where you're basically like a James Bond type spy trying to get out of these scenarios. Usually they're timed, like you have to solve a puzzle before a bomb goes off or something. I did a Let's Play of the first one, but I haven't played the second one yet. But I distinctly remember there being a part in the first one where I was like, ooh, I wonder what happens if I dip this cigar in this bottle of alcohol. And then it exploded and scared me. So
I remember that.
So there was that. So yeah, I Expect You to Die 3 means I'm going to have to hurry up and play the second one now. Pixel Ripped 1978, I want to point out because I played the first game in that series. This is like the third or fourth one they've made. But the very first game I played, I forgot what year it took place in. But in that game, you were a kid in school with a little handheld game system that you were trying to hide from your teacher. So, in the VR thing, you're trying to, look down and play this game that is represented by the controller in your hands, and you're trying to, play it, but then you're also trying to look up and make sure the teacher doesn't catch you playing it. It's crazy. And now it's evolved into something completely different. Pixel Ripped 1978 has you playing as a game developer for Atari, and you get sucked into a game world. It looks really cool. Just want to point out Power Wash Simulator VR because Power Wash Simulator is super popular, and now it's coming to VR. And Putzle, I wanted to point out because it's a puzzle game about putt-putt golf. It's a putt-putt puzzle game. So, I just wanted to... That's why it's called Putzle. Good luck saying that with a lisp. So, that was... Yeah, so that was the VR showcase for me. So, those were the big... those were all the things. That was Summer Game Fest. That was the whole thing from start to finish. A week long of showcases. I just wanted to make sure that even if we didn't dive deep into all of them, that all of them still got at least a little mention. But yeah, it sounds like the big standouts here are definitely Spider-Man, Prince of Persia, Alan Wake, Star Wars, Starfield, Avatar, Assassin's Creed, Banishers, Avowed, Exoprimal, you mentioned Fable.
Yeah, Exoprimal, yeah. Fable, yep.
Fable, Hellblade 2, Clockwork Revolution. Yeah. Those were the some of the big ones. Okay. Yeah, and you said Wallace and Gromit stood out to you as well.
Yeah.
One of those. So
Forza Motorsport.
Yeah, Forza Motorsport. Yep, that too.
Avatar.
That too. Yep, we got. Yep. Okay.
And
so those
of
were
course,
the
Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yep. Looking forward to that as well.
And
it's gonna be a while. But
Speaking of Dragon's Dogma, it is downloading to my PS5 as we speak.
I'll be interested in hearing what you think of it. Now, it's been a long time since I've played it, so if you take my pawn for your adventures, they're probably not going to be super impressive. But
Fair enough.
But you're more than welcome to it. It should base it off people who are on your friends list who also have played the game. So, but all right, well, so overall, how do you feel about this year's Summer Game Fest as a whole? Like the whole week put together?
Bro, it was a great event. I loved it. Absolutely loved every minute of it.
Awesome.
From what I watched.
Yeah, me too.
Dude,
me too.
There was a lot of surprises and a lot of interesting things.
Yes, there was. Yeah, I was definitely surprised by a few things. I mean, there is still that, there's still a little something missing that E3 had that this doesn't, and I think it's, the theatricality. The whole,
Yep.
the whole gaming Super Bowl overhype thing that they did. It's kind of, I would say Summer Game Fest is actually more of a more laid-back, mellow experience in comparison. But it's still exciting, if you care about gaming at all as a whole, or gaming as an art form, or just if you just like to celebrate gaming, then it's definitely a good event for that.
Oh, most definitely.
And, but yeah, we do have, I think it's in August, Gamescom, where Jeff Keighley will be traveling to Europe to host Gamescom opening night live, and we will check that out and cover it as well, because that usually has a bunch of big announcements too. So Gamescom Gamescom is basically like European E3. So
nice. Okay.
And then later in the year, much later in the year, around November, the Game Awards nominees will be announced, and we'll do an episode talking about our personal picks and predictions for the Game Awards. And then after the Game Awards airs, we will do an episode talking about the winners and the announcements, because the Game Awards is not only about the awards, but also about the world premiere trailers and surprises that they have. It's like getting another E3 at the end of the year. So,
but now,
hell yeah.
So we'll be covering those things when they happen, but for now, it sounds like that'll be the end of this episode. So once again, thank you all so much for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite announcements were from the Summer Game Fest this year. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and click that like button. If you're listening on Spotify, go ahead and follow. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a rating and review. And if you would like to email me your answers, your favorite Summer Game Fest announcements, anything like that, that you want me to read on the show, you can email me at mroversoul53@gmail.com. Again, I have been Justin, aka Oversoul, and you can find me on Twitter at Oversoul53, and of course on YouTube as Oversoul Gaming. And you?
And I have been Nick, aka the Vaping Fiend, and you can find me on the Vaping Fiend on Twitter, the.vaping.fiend on TikTok, the Vaping Fiend on Twitch, and as well as PlayStation. On PlayStation as well.
That thing I'm downloading the game on right now.
Yeah, that thing I'm downloading Dragon's Dogma on right now.
Alright. Well, that'll be it for this episode. Hope you all had a happy Summer Game Fest. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
And we'll catch you in the next one. Good night, everybody.
Bye.